The new movie PlayDate, starring Kevin James, Alan Richardson, and much more. Guys, we got another movie we're going to be finally talking about, and overall, you guys can watch this on Prime Video right now, and I want to talk about this because, again, I want something new to watch with the snowstorm, so I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and give this a shot. And the entirety of this movie is interesting because you got Kevin James's character who plays Brian, average guy. He's a forensic accountant at a firm, and he is a stepdad to this one kid, and he's married, and the one who plays his wife is Sarah Chalk. So I'm not sure if you guys remember her. She played Becky Connor in Roseanne. She was the second Becky, if you guys remember, and she had a son already, and when Kevin James's character met her, they got together, got married, and he took on the role of being his kid's dad. Well, he got used to calling him dad, so he was like, you know what, I'm gonna call him dad. And they're both kind of for lack of a better term, wimps. And he loses his job, he becomes stay-at-home dad, and he's like, you know what, let me try to, get him more into sports and other things, because the kid just wants to dance and do all this other kind of stuff. And then he meets Alan Richardson's character, who is Jeff, who is just this ex-military, muscular, charismatic, outgoing person, and he's apparently playing football with his parents' son. Well, things get talking, and the two boys get along, and then Kevin James is like, I don't know about this guy, he seems kind of weird, and he gives the information to his wife, like, hey, I met this guy, and our kid and, his kid's gonna be, playing around. Well, things take a weird turn when they're like, hey, someone's watching us in the backyard, because they went over to their house. And that's when Alan Richmond, kicks into action. It's like, okay, hey, let's go here. And they went to like this Buck Cheese or whatever, and it was kind of like, a rip-off of Chuck E. Cheese. And things get crazy to where they have to go on the run from these people that the one Jeff took the character CJ from. And he doesn't know exactly what's going on, other than, taking the character Brian, his son, like, okay, they think he's like, well, I don't know nothing. And they go into this huge thing of, trying to escape these military guys. And when they go further into the story, you see where Jeff and Brian slowly start becoming good friends, because we learn more about Brian, of how he was unsure if he was meant to be a dad, and if, his stepson really needs him as a dad. And Jeff tries to help him, giving him that encouragement. And then Jeff, he came from a bad background. He was raised an orphan, in the foster system, and we come to find out that CJ is actually a clone of him, that his former commander got with this one genius scientist and made clones of him. And we don't find that out until later on in the movie, pretty much like super soldiers, and they have to be able to get the CJ that he saved back. And what we see throughout the entirety of the movie is, again, it's a comedy action movie. We got Eliza Fisher in here. She plays like a soccer mom, is really funny, because, again, I love Eliza Fisher. She's hot, she's funny, and she just comes across as this like badass, like kind of criminal-ish mom. And when they think, Kevin James's character is a bad person, they all try to go up against them in the van, which was hilarious. I think that was probably my favorite scene. So if you guys have seen the movie and you see the scene where they're on the highway and they're trying to escape the military guys and these mafia moms, it's funny, in my opinion, for that. But overall, like, some of the jokes stuck and some of it didn't. And a lot of you guys probably know, if you've seen a lot of Kevin James's movies, that, again, Kevin James, I mean, I give him credit, I love Kevin James. He's lost a lot of weight, but then it looked like he gained some back. I'm not sure if he really did, or he just, whatever for the role. But it just seems like he always gets like a hot wife, and it's like, really, so I always found that kind of funny. But overall, I think he did a good job with this role. Adam Richmond, I think he did a good job with the role too, because he was a very like outgoing, person, to where I don't think he really realized how the world worked to a certain degree. But he just came from a bad background. His dad didn't want nothing to do with him. He was raised in the foster system. Now he's got a clone of him that he's got to raise. And if I could compare this movie to any other couple movies, I would really compare this to like Spy Kids meets Universal Soldier is the best way to describe this film, but like the kids version of this. But overall, I mean, the film's okay, but would I watch it again? Probably not. I think it was a one and done for me. You know, again, I like both actors. I think they both can act, and I think that this film was funny, and I think it had some action to it, but at the same time, I just don't feel that this movie was probably the best one for either person, because I think that in some ways this movie kind of just flopped in certain ways, and I think that's the reason why it probably went to straight, streaming, and instead of just putting it out there and saying, oh hey, we're gonna do this and put in theaters, stuff like that. But again, it's it's just one of those movies, and what I recommend this movie, give it a shot at least, see if the movie's for you. If it's not, that's perfectly fine. But overall, what do you guys think about this? If you guys have seen this movie, if you haven't, cool. If you have, cool. But either way, let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and I'll see you as always on the next one.